This is a very big deal, depending what the jury damages it will be, and the jury will determine what those damages would be. I thought it'd be useful just to sort of take a minute back. The iPhone hasn't been around for that long. If we look at what Apple's stock has done since the iPhone's introduction, of course, we see the dramatic impact of this business. But, you know, the stock only tells part of that story. That's a fantastic rise in this business, and things were already improving importantly. But, you know, back in 2006, before the before the iPhone was out, whoever even imagined an iPad, let alone the iPhone, let alone its amazing success, the iPod was a dominant rising business for Apple. But, you know, the Macintosh, the iPod, those were the big things for this company back in 2006. Flash forward to now, and you look at the most important things for the company, or at least for the trailing fiscal year in 2011, and what you see is that the iPhone is the dominant business for this much larger company. So not only is the company so much bigger, that the iPhone and the iPad have come to dominate the revenues for Apple. Everything else is being sort of dragged along and upwards thanks to the iPhone. And
what's interesting also today, on the other side of the world, in South Korea, a court in Seoul ruled that both Apple and Samsung are both guilty of infringing and actually banned sales of certain products. None of the latest products, but the iPad 1 and 2, the iPhone 3GS, the iPhone 4, Samsung's Galaxy S2, Nexus smartphones, the Tab, and the Galaxy
last year's model.
So all of these products have been banned in South Korea as we wait for the jury to deliver the verdict here in California.
Well, and what's interesting about that is some of those products are still on the market and are very important to Apple for two reasons. One, for example, the iPad 2. Gross margins, they still make that product. Gross margins are a lot higher on that product than when they first introduced it. Also, it lets them come in at a much lower price point now that they sell it. So it lets them have an iPad available for people who want to spend less money. But, you know, from a revenue standpoint, what's going on with this company, this number, I just haven't looked at the numbers in this context, but the entire revenues for Apple in the year of 2006, I think we've got a chart that shows this, but the entire revenues of Apple in 2006 were at $19.3 billion. The iPhone revenues for last year were $47 billion, just the iPhone. So this business, that little device, this little device, right, is bigger business for Apple than all of Apple was just 5 years ago.
And important to mention, this is exactly 1 year ago today, Tim Cook took over as CEO of Apple.
Yeah, shocking day for us, a big day for our broadcast in Bloomberg West. Sort of validated what we're trying to do in this show, but it's big news that a lot of people care about.